Southern California Marine Institute, an alliance of 23 different universities and foundations focusing on my favorite marine research at all levels. Follow me as we talk to Cindy and Brian Wilcox, the founders of Marine BioEnergy. We are here with Brian and Cindy Wilcox of Marine BioEnergy. They plan to turn kelp into fuel for the car you drive and the airplanes you fly. So why kelp and why farm open ocean kelp?
A big problem facing humanity is the use of fossil fuels, and we want to find a way to replace the fossil fuels used in long-haul vehicles like airplanes and ships and trucks and all other vehicles. Those fossil fuels need a source of biomass to have a carbon neutral replacement so that the carbon is constantly recycled in the new growing plants. In order to do that, we wanted to go to the ocean because the ocean has this vast area that is not already spoken for. The land areas, the good agricultural land areas are all taken on the earth. And so in the ocean, there's abundant sunlight, but there's no nutrients in the top layer. So if you go down just 150 meters or so, you can get to a place where there is nutrients. So it's not very deep, but you have to be able to go there on a regular basis. So that's our concept, is to use the nutrients from the deeper water and combine that with the sunlight at the surface.
And so you've thought of the depth cycling process, which is kind of like an elevator for kelp, taking it down at night for the nutrients and then up during the day for the sunlight.
Yes, that's right. We want to basically have the plants at the surface to collect as much sunlight as possible during the daytime. And then as soon as the sun sets, we take the kelp down to the nutrient-rich layer and bathe it in the nutrients all night long, and then back to the surface. And we have now demonstrated that that works.
It's amazing. And I know that you have a history in space using drones in space. Is that correct?
Yes, I spent 38 years at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory working on space robotics, so robotic vehicles to go to other planets. And so these are extreme environments. They have high radiation, they have extreme temperature swings. So a lot of things that we don't have in the ocean. The temperature range in the ocean is nice and narrow, but of course the ocean is a hostile environment in that the salt water is corrosive to most materials, and also you have occasional storms which are fierce, and you would need to design the system to survive those. Our answer to that is to take the whole farm system down into the quiet waters, down where the nutrients are, where there's no storms. They can ride out any storm down at that nutrient level.
So to fuel the nation, how much kelp would we need?
So that's a great question, one that our sponsor definitely asked that same question. So we did the calculation, and Brian really played big in doing this calculation. And we calculated that to replace 10% of the liquid fuels that we're currently using in the U.S., we need 220,000 square kilometers under cultivation. And that's a huge space, and that's the same area as the size of Utah. And we're not underplaying this. This is not Rhode Island or Delaware. This is Utah. But the great thing about the Pacific Ocean, and most of us don't realize it, is that we can fit 705 Utahs in the Pacific Ocean, and we only need one Utah for 10%. So there's plenty of space out there, and that's not just one farm the size of Utah. That's many farms that add up to a Utah. And so picture all these different farms out there, and they're in big circulation patterns, and they intersect with harvesters once every 90 to 100 days, and they can be harvested all year. We know that about kelp because that's been tested over many decades. So there'll be all these farms circulating, and so not only can we meet the needs of the U.S., but we can meet the needs of other nations eventually. And so this is a great opportunity to go to the oceans and make fuel. We're very excited about it.
Amazing. So what's the next step for Marine BioEnergy?
we need to produce a prototype, and we're working with our sponsor in order to arrange to get the funding and all the things we need to make a prototype farm system that we can put out in the open ocean, beyond Catalina Island.
Amazing. Have companies expressed an interest in buying tons of kelp?
A couple of companies have. One in particular is interested in the kelp to turn it into a replacement for natural gas, and they're using it to fuel their trash trucks. And the trash trucks were burning diesel, so it's awesome to use a kelp-based fuel instead of diesel. And when they have more than enough kelp, they can put the remainder of the biogas into the pipelines and use that to fuel the grid. So this is a great company called CR&R, and they're in Southern California, so we're really looking forward to working with them. And another company that's interested in kelp is called Primary Ocean, and they'd be using it to make a biostimulant for crops, like to improve strawberries. And so they're excited about receiving kelp also. So there's a couple of early customers that are looking for kelp.
Amazing, yes. Amazing. So I'm super excited. You're in the perfect time for our tremendous need for clean energy. And then I learned something today where not only will it be for future fuel, but for cow food and world food,
right,
for the world's food supply.
We're looking forward to testing all those opportunities. It could be a great option on a lot of fronts. Thank you for having us.
Yeah,
thank you
so much. This was wonderful. So.